Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm Bob Mendelsohn, and this is the Bob's Your Uncle podcast. Today we speak with Will Ponsonby from Hobart, Tasmania in Australia. He's an electric engineer, he's a sports enthusiast, a badminton champion. He's an entrepreneur. He's got so much to say. Stay with us. You can now find us and comment to us wherever you get your podcasts. Tell us what matters to you, what triggers your joy, what bothers you in the world. Let us know. We'll see where the Spirit leads us. Wherever you are just now, whether you're out for your evening constitutional, or you're here in Australia or back in the United States with friends, or all by yourself with your headset on, hey, wherever you are, thanks for joining us these 18 minutes. Of note, the opinions are strictly my own and those of my guests.
But I do know that I love you, and I know that if you love me too, what a wonderful world this would be.
Today in history, the 30th of April, Willem-Alexander became the King of the Netherlands after his mother, Queen Beatrix, abdicated. She had ascended the throne 33 years earlier. In 2013, he did this. In 1975, the South Vietnamese capital of Saigon, Ho Chi Minh City, fell to North Vietnamese troops during the Vietnam War. 30 years before that, in 1945, the German dictator Adolph Hitler, along with his wife Eva Braun, committed suicide in a bunker in Berlin. Finally, in 1897, English physicist J.J. Thomson announced he had discovered the electron, which helped revolutionize the knowledge of atomic structure. He later was awarded the Nobel Prize for Physics, and that's the historical marker of the week. Will Ponsonby, you're a distinguished coach, an accomplished state badminton player. Where did that name Ponsonby come from?
It's a good question, and I've figured it out. I always kind of wondered, and my family told me that it was English, and they were mostly right. But the name's broken up into a few parts, and the Pons part of it is actually from an area in France called Pons. And then when they moved to England, when the William the Conqueror was invading England, that's when the name came over, and the sons of Pons came to England, and then I don't know where the BY came from. Maybe they just made it sound better, but they were the sons of Pons, and they turned it into Ponsonby.
And now
it took a bit to figure that out.
And Ponsonby is now, long after 1066 with William the Conqueror, there is a hip section of Auckland. Do you have relatives on North Island?
No, not there. I do have a relative there that moved from Tasmania, and he is Ponsonby, but I have been there. That's it's a nice little town. I was playing an international tournament there.
Got to take a picture of the name of the village with you in front of it.
Absolutely.
You get a chance to go back there. Will, thanks
Yeah.
for taking time to be with me. You are the man I met at Off Court Sports there in Hobart. I love the store. I enjoyed meeting each of the people there. Where did the name Off Court Sports come from?
Yeah, good question. We came up with that around 19 years ago. We operated for about 18, 19 years, badminton store inside the badminton centre in South Hobart. And we brainstormed, not for very long. We spent a lot of time on the court, playing and coaching, and we, got into restringing and providing, the professional services for the sports. And we decided that off court was a suitable name, being, a small little shoebox size shop 6 meters from the court. Yeah, so we've been off court for a little while, and then we recently relocated to the CBD, pushing into other sports to support, a bigger building and a bigger lease, and pickleball was right up there with an emerging sport that had potential. And we decided to be a little more all-encompassing with our name, so we changed it to Off Court Sports. And
It worked for
and
me. It got my attention. I mean, I'm a mad keen pickleballer for 6 years, 7 years really. And then to find you guys right in the center of Hobart, I thought that was great. What's your long range plan with this shop? Do you want to knock Rebel Sports out of the industry?
we'll give it a go. Look, I think that's probably our long-term vision with it, is to start encroaching into other sports that aren't really done too well in terms of getting the right gear and equipment and advice. And and we did that with pickleball, and a lot of our advice came from pickleballers because we didn't know much about it. And we're trying to do that as best we can, getting all the right brands in and the right gear. And we'll do that with the other fringe sports as well, because there's more potential there with the sports that aren't being delivered well on. So our next move is hockey. We've just started to stock hockey sticks and equipment, and shoes, and then we'll be looking to find the next sport that's not delivered well, like lawn bowls. You can't find a set of lawn bowls in town, and there's lawn bowl clubs everywhere.
And now one of the things that you as a marketer, as an entrepreneur, along with your buddy Mark, your partner in this, is that you've got to be looking ahead of what's current. And and I know that pickleball is on the ascent, and tennis, sadly, and maybe badminton are on the descent as far as popular activities, as far as finances. When I
To
moved
see
to
how it's
Australia,
tracking.
when I moved here in '98, lawn bowls was the #1 played sport in the country.
Right.
And now, from what I've heard, pickleball is the fastest growing sport in Australia. We just passed 11,000 paid members, national members, and we just
Wow.
started 6 years ago. So I don't know what do I like? I like to say that the toothpaste is not going back in the tube. It's just bursting. Hey, tell me, where is Off Court Sports located exactly?
221 Liverpool Street. So yeah, we're not quite in the hub. You've got to walk out a block, but at a convenient area where you've still got two-way street access and decent parking where it's not too busy. So yeah, at a good location, where two-story building there with plenty of room, that we're quickly filling up. So at this rate, we're going to need a bigger building in 2 years.
I hope so for you. 221 Liverpool. What's the cross street or nearest cross street?
The nearest cross street would be Harrington Street.
Okay, Cool.
Yeah.
Personally, Will, tell us a little about yourself. You married, you have kids, university. What else besides badminton gets you up in the morning?
Yes. What else gets me up? Look, I have a great friendship group. I love, I don't play as much badminton as I used to, and I kind of transitioned into like, hitting the gym, early hours with those guys, and like once I moved out of intense badminton training every morning, I moved into gym training with the guys at Hustle Street, and that's, you know, it's nice to wake up, roll into the gym, and just be surrounded by like super positive people, and then finish the gym at 7 and then get on with the day. I really like to start the day that way. Work with CSIRO there and the research ship that it keeps me pretty busy through the day, and then at the end of the day, I've got my 10-year-old daughter, so running around after her with swimming or gymnastics, and the weekend activities with sleepovers and all that fun stuff. Yes, and it doesn't end there. So, and yeah, and whatever spare time I have left, I'm renovating an old house, so painting that and getting that up to scratch.
Not You are not shy about activity. My goodness, just a 10-year-old daughter alone would be enough. But for Molly, that work at CSIRO as an electronic engineer, that keeps you busy. The work at off-court sports, I'm just impressed as all get out with you. But I'm not talking about your daughter's room, but the world is a mess just now. Do you think you have some answers to bring it back to sense and sensibility?
Oh gosh, where do you start? um, yeah, look, that's a tough one, and it's pretty scary when you look at what's happening, um, around the world. It's it's sad to see. I suppose it's just the same things repeating um, itself with just different labels in terms of wars, and um, you know, will that ever stop? Probably not. Um, I really like uh, Australia, Tasmania. I feel like we're shielded from that sort of stuff, but we're also a part of that problem. We're involved in some of those activities, say wars and whatnot, in one way or another.
Where internationally, where have you traveled and what is your favorite or happy place?
It was probably less about the badminton and more about the holiday. I spending time in Rome and Milan. You know, I would I would like to go back there. Um, and spend a little bit more time in a warmer time of the year. I went at a cold time.
People in
Yeah,
southern Italy think Milan is Germany. They think it's
uh,
the north. It's
yeah,
they think
yeah.
it's
It's a fair
foreign
way up.
soil.
Yeah.
Okay, quick shots. Just either or. Um, Macca's or Hungry Jack's?
Ooh. I used to at my first job. I was an employee at Hungry Jack's. Uh, that should probably steer me away from that, but I do like their vegetarian burger. So Hungry Jack's.
The Impossible Burger. Great.
Yeah.
Badminton or pickleball?
Oh, that's a tough one. I think if you had have asked me that 10 years ago, I would have straight off the bat said badminton. I'm a lot better at badminton. Um, but can I go 50-50?
Absolutely. We can make it work any way we want. All right.
The
AFL or EPL?
AFL.
Me too. Old or New Testament in the Bible?
Old or new? I have to be New Testament.
Okay. And Tasmania or somewhere else?
Is it chosen at random?
Your choice. You can make it
Oh,
do
it might,
anything you want.
Tasmania, yeah.
It's a beautiful state. Look, I really appreciate your time, Will. Is there anything else you'd like to share with our audience about your life, about anything you want to say?
Look, I've got to say, I just want to touch base with the pickleball community, and we took that on as a sport because it was, it looked good on paper, but it's been great. It's been a great seller, but what's probably more important is like the people that I've been involved with in pickleball, like yourself and Kiko, who runs various groups around Hobart, and everyone else around Hobart. They've like really welcomed us with open arms, and like the community vibe is so welcoming, and they are so lovely. It's like, we can't thank them enough, and they can't thank us enough for the support we give them. But like, I'm just so impressed with what pickleball people are doing. It's they're growing so rapidly because it's been driven by lovely people, and they've got a blank slate in terms of how they operate.
The best sport you've never heard of.
Yeah, great. It's a great sport, great bunch of people.
Yeah. Well, thanks again, Will, for your time today, and let's stay in touch.
Yeah, definitely, Bob. Yeah, great to meet you, and we'll catch up again sometime soon.
In the meantime, what do you think about all this? Why don't you write me right here where you're getting your podcast? Or if you want to write me, Bob Mendo at AOL.com. I'd love to hear your response. Every week we read from the #1 bestseller of all time, the Bible, and this week is no different, especially since it's Passover week. From Hosea chapter 2, then I will give her her vineyards from there and the valley of Achor as a door of hope. And she will sing there as in the days of her youth, as in the day when she came up from the land of Egypt. Until next week, then, when things seem bleak or uncertain, look up to God. He's in his heaven, and Bob's your uncle. Shalom.